Hello, this is John here with the first introduction to Office 365 and what that means and what that's going to do for your sanctuary. So the first thing to say to you is that, before that, my son's off sick at the moment, so you may hear him coughing in the background, so apologies for that, but that's the reason for it. So the first thing to say is as we go through the upgrade process, which is just starting to happen now, I expect it will be finished by the beginning of November, around about that time, is that we're going to be introducing a new operating system. So an operating system is really shouldn't make any difference to the way that we work at all, and we're changing from Windows 7 for most of you. Some of you got Windows 8, and we're installing Windows 10 to everybody's machines. Now it looks slightly different, but to all intents and purposes it is exactly the same. And the way to navigate around Windows 10, for those of you that are not familiar with it or a little bit frightened by it, and I understand why, but you don't need to be, it's just an operating system. The way that I first learned to use Windows 10 is, you'll see this type here to search. If you're trying to do anything, just type in there. So if I want to open up Outlook, if I just start to type Outlook, it will bring it up as an application up there for me to start. If I want to open up Word, if I just type in Word, there's that there. If I want to look to what printers are installed, if I just start to type printers, it'll come up. So that's the best way to navigate around Windows 10. If you're not happy just using the menu system that's here, the way to shut down your machine is when you hit this Windows icon here, you'll see the power options there, and I can hit shut down or restart. So that's the way that you shut your machine down. But apart from that, it is literally just an operating system. You can ignore it. Okay. So the first thing to say is with regard away from the operating system and going on to the applications. The first thing to say here is that we're installing something called Office 365. Now, Office 365 is an application, or a service, I should say, that is provided by Microsoft, which we'll all have heard of. And Microsoft have a service which they have up in the cloud, and what does that mean? It really does just mean that instead of having systems and servers and big machines running in the corner of the office, you don't need those anymore. We'll ask Microsoft to do that. Microsoft will back up, Microsoft will make sure that we don't get viruses, Microsoft will be responsible for making sure that our data is good, clean, and so on. But for you, using Office 365, you can ignore all that, because what I'm about to show you and what I'll be showing you over the other videos is just how easy your life should become over a few weeks of using the applications that are available to you. So let's start by looking at Outlook. If I just go into Outlook, it will look exactly. Now this isn't populated at the moment because in order to make this version of Outlook work on Office 365, I need to switch off what you've currently got in place. Now if I switch it off before I give you the Outlook itself, everything's just going to break, and I don't want to do that. So apologies that there's no data in here, but hopefully you'll see or get a feel for how similar it looks to the way things do at the moment. So you want to create a new email, you hit new email, it will bring up the new email, you start to type in the address, and away you go. If you want to look at your calendar, this is your calendar down here, and there's all your calendar view. These are your contacts, and then down here you've got your task lists. It's very much the same as it always was. So I hope, whilst it looks slightly different, I hope you understand that the way that the application itself works is fundamentally the same. So please don't be frightened of the new version of Outlook. It will look slightly different, as I say, but please don't worry about that. We got Word. If I open up Word, it's the same as it is. Okay, being a man, I can't multitask, I can't type and talk at the same time. It's exactly the same, and as you come out of Word, you'll be prompted, do you want to save, do you not want to save? I'm going to say don't save for the moment as we go through this, and I'll just get rid of that, close that now. So the application is going to be exactly the same. They will reside, some of you may have heard that Office 365 is something that you run from the cloud. That's true, we can run it from the cloud too, but the version of Office that we have allows us to install on your local device, i.e. the PC that you're sat at. So if I open up any of the applications, like let's go to Excel, this is running from this machine that I'm currently working on. All right, so it's something that I'm able to just run whether I'm connected to the internet or I'm not. Okay, the only other thing that I want to talk to you about for now as an introduction video is the way that you used to be set up to how it is now. Now, you will be familiar with drive letters, so you would have used drive H for your home drives, and I think you're using drive P and a few other drive letters that represented an area on server 1, and server 1 was the box that was in the meeting room in the Woking head office. Those servers are going, so the server 1, and for those users in the White House and the Red House, you'll be familiar with something called T-Server as well, so you'll have to run something called MSTSC, Terminal Services, in order to connect into the office to then log on to your drive mappings and so on. They're all going, all right, so round about sometime in November when we go live with this, all of that will have gone, and you'll have this new area which is called SharePoint or OneDrive. Now, I'm going to introduce you just primarily to SharePoint for today, all right? Now, there's something called File Explorer, which gives you a folder view. Now, I think most of you will be familiar with what this does. If you're not, it's nothing to be frightened of. It's just giving me a view of what's on the system, on the local device, and up on the cloud. Now, I'm going to show you this in a second. What the cloud side of things. So this is how you walk through a folder structure with inside a machine or a server. And if you cannot access the File Explorer because you don't have this bit here where my mouse is moving, this is called a taskbar. If pinned to that taskbar you don't have File Explorer, it's dead easy. Right hand mouse click, go up to File Explorer, and it will launch this. Now, what we have is we have a few new areas, you know, a couple of OneDrives and something called Your Sanctuary with this little icon here which is meant to represent an office. This area here is where all your shared documents are going to now be kept, all right? So this is a shared environment where everybody can go and access your work, and you just start to walk through. There's a bit of test information, test data that I've uploaded there. Please don't be frightened by this. This is where your data now resides. Instead of it being in a drive letter, you just have to walk through the folder structure and select the data as to where you want to be. Now, that is, whilst it's located up in the cloud, it's also located on your local machine. So it's syncing between the two. So it's syncing between the cloud and your local machine. Now, that might sound quite grand and quite posh, but basically what it means is if you install any software or any document with inside this area here, it's going to go on your local hard drive to begin with, but then it will very quickly sync up into the Microsoft systems. How do I know when that's done? Well, you can probably just see a little green tick there. That means that this folder is synced and it's up to date. So if I create a new, let's say a text document, and I call it John Test, all right, you'll see that changes to a little blue, and now it's just changed back to a tick. That means it's gone straight up into the cloud. If I open this up and this is a test document, and if I close that, it's going to save it, and you'll see, so as I hit save, you'll see the little blue syncing come up there, and it will change to a green tick. That's how quickly it takes. So, or how quickly it takes to upload these things. So if I go here, I might want to create a brand new Word document. I'm going to call it John Test 2, and you'll see it's syncing. Once it's done, it's there. And if I double click on that, ignores. Let's try that again, shall we? It's upload block because anyway, it should have uploaded. There you go. It's already ticked this. By the time I come out of the document, it's there. So that is now. If I log in as another user that's got the right to see that, so we can block certain people in certain areas. If I'm now logging in and I look at your Sanctuary team site, it will show that document has just been uploaded. So that's all I wanted to show you for now. I appreciate that's probably going to throw up some questions, but that's just a very brief introduction. I hope to do a few more of these videos, and I'll be on hand to help you as well. I'll also spend a little bit of extra time with Julie because I'm aware that you guys will need some extra help, and Julie will probably give you that in the first instance at least anyway. But that's a brief introduction to what Office 365 is about. That's it for now, and I'll be back online soon.